Kim.
Hi, this is Shauna.
Hi, this is Kay. This is Thriving LDS Singles Sisters Podcast. So welcome everybody to the podcast Thriving LDS Singles. We're really excited to have you here. And today we're doing an interview with Nancy and we're going to learn more about her. So we have Kay here, Kim and Shauna and Nancy. Wave, Nancy.
Yes, hello.
Hi. So Nancy, we'd love to hear more about you. Can you tell us a bit about yourself, please?
Okay, I am from Colombia in South America. I love education, so I hold undergraduate degrees in political science, philosophy, and I have an international certificate in conflicts from ASU. I have an MBA. I speak 4 languages, and I love to travel all the world. So I love the gospel. I was able to know about the church when I was like 10 years old in Colombia. And the missionaries just arrived to my city. So then a lot of people in the town were very curious about the 2 gringos arriving to the little town. So people were saying, oh my gosh, the CIA. And so then, yeah, that was like a very difficult for the missionaries to get into to teach in our town, because our town was like 99.9 Catholics. So it was very challenging for them to teach the gospel. And then one of our neighbors started studying the gospel. She fought going to a family home evening. And then my mother made me go with her the following Monday. So then I went to the little chapel they had, and they have metal chairs and like a pulpit. And I was very curious because they didn't do the sign of the cross and they were like very poor. And then I told the missionaries at the end, oh my gosh, you guys are very poor. We can go to my church. They have beautiful things and we can teach you how to pray and do the sign of the cross. And then I was very impressed how the missionaries handle the situations and my curiosity. And then at the end of the teaching, so I went back to my mom's and explained to her that, hey, we're doing everything wrong. We shouldn't do this. We shouldn't do that. We praying wrongly with the right way to pray. And I brought the pamphlet. Is this way? And she was like, OMG, they're brainwashing you. So then I kept going to the church for 3 years, and finally I got able to get baptized. And my mother, many years, maybe 20 years later, she got baptized when I was getting divorced. And she told me I was very upset through the divorce process. And she told me, hey, you cannot allow that man to destroy your testimony about God. And she said, I will get baptized to show you that wherever you go in, that church is good. That church is true. I get baptized, but you just don't have these ugly feelings. Don't speak that way that you're speaking, because that's not you. So that was like very beautiful. And my mother passed away 2 years ago. And back in Colombia, and she wanted to be buried with the temple cloth. So it was very beautiful. And everybody was like, oh my gosh, what is she wearing?
Yeah, because they wouldn't have seen that, right?
Never.
I've never been to a Catholic funeral. I don't know what it's like, but.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you were baptized. When did you come to the States?
I came in when I was like 22 years old.
And were you married when you came over here, or?
No, I came in with a student visa to study English in ASU West. And I came in and I got impressed with this country. In Colombia, we have to like get married and all those things. And I came in this country and I saw that we women can do whatever we want. We're free to work, to earn money, to be free. If we want, we get married. And it's okay. We can still single and nobody cares. Nobody cares if we wear heels or we do our hair. This country is amazing. This country is, nobody has what we have.
Amazing.
I love to hear you say that because I think you have you have something to compare it to, something. And so I think a lot of times we have women that feel like that they are being discriminated against, but we really do have so many opportunities, and so much of getting in the way is our own getting in our way. But so it's fun to hear you say how different it was when you got here. And
oh my gosh. And I have traveled to 46 countries around the world. And definitely not even closer, not maybe England, but we have something that nobody has. We have freedom. We can do anything. We have opportunities, anything. Like me, I work in a construction field. A field that is hold 95, maybe more % by men. But hey, I put this one and then I began the boss. So then it's amazing. And it's only in this country. I don't think I can do that in Colombia or in Mexico or anywhere.
yeah,
It's very
But in
challenging.
Australia,
yeah, you have to add Australia to your list because there's
Yeah.
lots of opportunity there.
Yeah.
Australia-
So
Australia is a very free country. So we would be able to do any of those things in Australia.
yeah, there are a few countries where they are more liberal, but even here in the United States, I can do that, but daily, I can be challenged by a man. They want to know if I'm capable to do what I said. That is not only holding a license, but also proving yourself. And plus, I have an accent. I am little, and I am a woman. So it's, what the heck this woman is doing here?
So how do you handle that? Because I can see how if you came onto a construction site, they would be saying, hey, tell us a little more about how you've managed that.
Like I tell everybody, especially when they're like big jobs, I told them, hey, you have two choices. Or you give me a chance, and if I don't know how to manage this job, hey, you can go, you can do anything else, because anyways, regardless of, this is my contract. So you are here because somebody sent you, but then this is my job. So I can replace you by at any minute. But if you want to stay, give me a chance, and probably we can learn something from each other. And that's the thing, the people underestimate you. They underestimate the fact that because you're a woman or you have an accent, or so then you don't have the knowledge, you don't have the capacity to think or to resolve issues. And at the end, every man that stays, they say, wow, working with a woman is so different because we have checklists. We're very organized. Everything is clean,
Yes, we are.
impeccable. And everything is, wow, you always work like this. And it's cool. They say, wow, it's like a very difficult to have an error because we are checklists every time. Hey, you do this error. And then it's like a kind of, it became like they say, oh, cute. So that's the new word in the field when a woman is right there. Oh, that's cute.
So you came to America to learn English and stayed, basically.
Yes, I did stay. I went back and come back. But yeah, I was like, no, this is nothing that I have seen.
And then you married an American?
I married a Caucasian guy from the church, and I have 3 beautiful girls. They are all grown ups. Cindy, Alexandria is 23, and Kalia is 21. Cindy finished her PhD 2 years ago, and she just made me a grandma.
Aw,
To a beautiful
congratulations.
boy. Yeah, thank you. And Alexandria, she's in BYUI studying business. And she actually is getting married in the Gilbert Temple in December 16.
Oh, soon.
Yeah, she's all excited. And then Kalia, she's a BYU studying data analysis. So very smart girls, amazing. I cannot ask for more. Very blessed by Heavenly Father giving me the opportunity to have these amazing girls.
And they're very blessed that they had a mother that, and you're very blessed that you had a mother that was telling you to stay strong in a really hard time. Because when you go
Yes.
through a divorce and you see so many people, it's, yeah, that didn't work for me. And he was a member, and you start to, I didn't, but a lot of people are like, yeah, I'm not going to do that. You know, I
Yes.
don't want to do that. And you could have led those girls a totally different way.
Oh, totally. Yes, for sure. Indeed.
And that's what I did. Yeah. When I got divorced from my church marriage, I left the church as well. I went, stuff it all. And yeah, because of that, my children don't come to church. So your mother was very helpful to you to
Yeah,
keep.
for sure. She just step up and then she say, hey, that church. And the crazy thing is that she hated the church. She probably burned like 50 Book of Mormons, and she called it the blue book. That blue book, you don't know what are you doing and everything. And for her to say 20 years later, maybe, hey, that church is true. You're
Right.
so different from my other two girls. Don't change.
It's amazing. I really love that.
I love it.
And that's also,
It's beautiful
sorry?
because I love it from every angle, isn't it? Like
Yes.
from your bravery to keep going to church when your mum was so anti. Because when I joined the church, I was 16 and had a lot of anti-Mormon literature given to me, and I think it was good there wasn't the internet around. It was just pamphlets, so
Right.
a little easier. But yes,
You'd have to really sit down and read. That's harder.
yeah, that's right. But yes, so to go from that to her wanting to join, to her telling you what a good influence it is on you, that is wonderful to
Yes,
have.
that was amazing. My mom totally, and she always said that probably the best time of her life was when she was introduced to the gospel and she knew about the Lord. And it was so amazing when I went to Colombia and saw her. In Colombia, we take la siesta. We go napping after lunch. So we call it la siesta. And then after that, she get up like at 2:00 and then she get the handbook. And she was outside to the patio. And I was like, OMG, not even me have done that. And she sings like 5 songs and then read scriptures. And then I was, wow, Mom, I cannot believe that's you. It's, oh, wow. And to me, that gives us the hope that you never know. Is you have to live by example. You don't even have to teach people. You don't have to even preach people. But people always always look your actions. So you have to live Christ lives. Christ, like people's looking at you, and then out of the blue, they are going to say, "Wow, that's what happens to my mother."
That's awesome.
Yeah. Such a
And-
happy story.
It can really go. You could have gone off a scorned woman, and the more you were scorned and the more you wanted away from the church or whatever, you would have became harder and harder. You're just so bubbly and outgoing, and you can change so many lives like that Satan works really hard on people like that. So
For sure.
I'm really happy that your mom saw that and that you went that way.
Yeah, thank you.
So
That was
tell us,
amazing.
what were you going to say, Kay?
Just talk about the divorce, and because this is about becoming single, this pod, and we're trying to help people see that we can be single and thrive.
Well, I think the roles today with professional women change the whole perspective about relationships. Like me, I always like so strive for getting better, doing good, get more education and all those things. And that for some men becomes very challenging because we women with character. So men's not used to have that. So they say, oh, my ego. Oh, I'm depressed. Oh, you're like the diva. And they start like calling all those names just because we work and we want to be better and be good. And they don't understand that's a plus for the men in the family. Don't you think? We are giving so much to the family itself. If we professional and we work and we study.
Yeah. Were you a stay-at-home mom ever with your girls when you were married, or did you always work?
I always work because I was working for National City Mortgage and I was a loan officer and I was the number one in productivity in the United States. And I was holding all the west of United States refinances for the bank. Then when I had babies, I told them, hey, you have to put the office in my house because I have to feed my kids and I can come over to the bank. Don't worry, the productivity is not going to go low. I come to the bank 3 times and 2 times I stay at home, and I had a nanny that goes with me everywhere, helping me with the kids when I was with clients. So they say, no, you don't understand. This is a bank. We cannot put an office in your house. And I said, so then I can work because it's my kids. Finally, they put the office in my house and then they have to deal with me.
You had some negotiating power when you're number one.
Yes, they don't want to lose the money.
I think it's really important for single women to know. So I barely made it through high school. I got exactly the grades that I had to get to do the extracurricular activities. But so all my plan is to graduate from high school, get married, and have babies. That was my plan. I never thought of anything else. I just wanted to be the mom. So when I ended up single after 18 years and 6 children, it was like, what am I going to do? I had no idea. And I started doing loans. I was a loan officer.
Oh, wow.
That was back in 102. When was 9/11? 9/11 was
2000. It was 2000.
99.
In 2001.
Yeah.
Okay, so I did it back before there were even computers we just barely got computers. They had to be at the office and I'd go door to door. But what I was going to say is the women, we can't tell ourselves we can't make it because then we can't make it. But I shouldn't have made it and I made it. Like I didn't have education. I just did what God wanted me to do, and I just got put in the right places. And you have to trust that. And you can be your worst enemy is yourself. Telling yourself
absolutely.
You can't make it, or women can't do this. Like in my field, and that's was true in yours in loan officers, I'm sure. I was always number one. I never thought of men better than me. I had 5 assistants. I never thought. So I would hear people talk about, we're discriminated against. I'd be thinking, but my world was different. I didn't know. But again, I think it's really important for all single women that are getting out there to know you don't have to be educated. You can go get educated, but you can make it because God is behind you.
And I believe is that education is not only go to college, perhaps.
You mean
education? Yes, education, and it's also the drive you're going to have to perform the job the best you can.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what is your job. And professional doesn't mean a degree. Professional means it can be cakes from your house, baking the best cakes and cookies
Yeah.
in town, and that's education. It's not a degree. It's just the ability to perform a job the best you can and make money from it.
Yeah, and take care of your family. I always say, like, people will ask me, how did you do it? Like, I had a single girl that got a divorce when I worked. She did loans, and I said, I always paid my tithing. That's the first thing that came out of my mouth. And that is, I never missed my tithing. Even when I didn't know how I was going to buy groceries, I was literally living in someone else's apartment with 6 kids. And how am I going to pay for anything? And as soon as I got my first check, I paid my tithing. And she was like, really? And I was like, yeah. But I believe Heavenly Father takes care of those, we mothers who take care of our children. And you were saying, I would work nights at Walmart. My plan was to work how many jobs I needed to make sure my kids were okay. That's as women what we do.
Yes.
As long as that Satan doesn't get in our ear and tell us we can't do it. If we let that happen, we can't. It doesn't matter how educated or what degrees we have. If we believe that we can't do it,
You will do it. I think it's not so much fear is okay. That's normal. We all deal with fear. But I think what you said is we cannot doubt ourselves because we are so capable to be so amazing.
because we have God behind us.
Yes.
It's not us. I mean,
Yes.
so we have all that ability. If we try to think we can't do it, you're right. We can't do it. But with God, we can do, as
Definitely.
women, anything.
Yes. And we are very organized. We just probably when growing up, we were sheltered. We were growing to perform another roles. But today is just different. So we have to handle today's life and do what we need to do.
And be happy doing it.
Yes.
Because you're happy doing it. And it's great.
Yeah, makes a big difference. So tell us a little bit about being single and going to church. How do you handle being single and being in the church?
To me, the biggest challenge is being single and my work and church. So working in the construction, I work with men, 99.9999, from my investors, from inspectors, city inspectors, and other subcontractors, contractors. All my world are men. And then everybody, if they know that I'm single, they try to invite you over, and they all type of men. And then it's, oh my gosh, I have so much and I don't have nothing. Because the first thing, and men that know me, they will say a word. They will say, she's Mormon. And if she's Mormon, that's not going to fly. She's not going to go nowhere. So then sometimes you like this guy. Oh my gosh, he's so cute, so handsome, so smart, so everything. But hey, he doesn't have the gospel. So then you have to be very clear in your mind what you want. So you have to think celestial, like the prophet. The last talk he did. We need to think celestial and not let the things in the world to confuse us. Because it can be like so shiny, so beautiful to you right now, it can be the biggest disaster. And I think at my age, I always believe that I have one chance to get Mr. Right. And I really wish that this Mr. Right, that actually I signed up in Mutual like a month ago. So I have all those guys writing. And I'm like, Right. Like the first time I'm doing that, and I'm like, oh, they're wasting my time. But you try. At least I'm doing my part. And then I believe that I need to find somebody who loves the Lord the way I love the Lord, that is willing to give to the church what we learn in the temple, and that is willing to walk with me and take me to the veil. And it's somebody that is going to love me, respect me, and believe that I have a brain of my own. That is, they don't have to tell me what to do. We can talk together and make decisions together. That's probably my biggest challenge, that I want to get into a relationship. And then I'm waiting for so long. And then it's, holy cow, when is going to happen?
How long have you been single?
Like around 5 years,
Mm-hmm.
maybe longer.
And you go to the do you go to single activities in your area?
I do. I go to all the singles ward. I go to my ward. And then after my service, I go to the singles wards. Yeah, and I have a lot of friends, but like I said, it's so difficult to find that mentally is ready, emotionally, financially. It's like the list. It's like a word. Check, check. Oh, no. And a lot of guys, like today's day, they were saying, hey, but you're so difficult. You don't even go to first base. And I was like, what? What first base is? I don't know. If it is touching or kissing, hey, I have to first figure out if I like you. So you have to put a little bit of effort if you want to get to that first base. If first base means they have to be like older times. I remember when I was younger, they take you like a month, 2 months, and they bring you flowers and you go and walk. And it has to be this romantic thing that you really love the guy from, like you say, oh my gosh, he's cute, he's awesome. Not like a jumping, like a first base, and I don't even know you, dude.
Yeah.
I do hear it's really hard out there now dating. It wasn't as hard when I was dating. That was 18 years ago. But
Shauna's remarried.
Even if first base means kissing, I don't think we should give it that quick. We should hold.
And I think it's important, like you said, to have your checklist, because I had a lot of things I wanted, but there were 3 things that we'll talk about another time that I wouldn't budge on. And everybody's would be different, but one was, I'll say my number one was that they had to be strong in the church on their own. That's not for everybody, but for me, I saw so many people that were acting like they were on LDS.com or whatever, but they weren't. I want them to be who they really say they are, whether they're active or not active, not say they are and then not be, right?
Yeah, to me, that's very important when people is true to themselves, the gospel, and God. Because if they lie to themselves, what to expect?
You don't know what's real.
Yeah, you don't know what's real.
So Nancy, I agree with who said that we kiss on first dates? That's not really. Yeah. You need to get to know someone. This is like, and I've heard that. I haven't actually done any of their dating sites, but I've heard that it's very hard.
Yeah.
Shauna, you and I have talked about, because you dated the husband you're married to now for 3 years before you got married.
I was never going to get remarried, and I dated a lot before him, and it was quite eye-opening. It was, and 3 years, you still don't know him after 3 years, but it's still, if you waver at all on those really important points, because it is hard. Right, Kay? It's hard to be remarried and to blend families, even if you love them.
Oh, yes.
I mean, what's love got to do with it, really? Especially when we had little kids. It'll be easier now for you guys because you don't have little kids to bring in.
Yeah. And you need to hold true to those values, whether
Yeah.
you're divorced or not. It's all really about respect and showing who you are and being able to show discipline and a commitment and to your relationship with God, I think is the important thing. And
Right.
Definitely. If you want something celestial, if you want to go to the other side, you better do it. Otherwise, you won't go nowhere but another divorce.
And if you go against what your core is, if you want to be still to someone and you want that, that is what you want, and you give up on it, you say, maybe someday they'll do that, right? In your head, it's always, you'll be let down. That's why you just have to. Kay's husband was not a member, right? Kay, your second husband. And it wasn't that he tried to act like he was someone he wasn't. Right? That is a lot different than what we find as single LDS people in the LDS scene trying to date someone. They're not. A lot of them aren't what they're saying.
yeah. Yeah, it's one thing to be very clear and say, I am not LDS and I don't believe in it, versus they don't go to church unless they're dating you, and then they go to church. That's where it gets really uncomfortable, I think.
Yeah, we'll have to do a whole dating non-members and stuff.
It comes into everything, because when you're a single LDS sister in the church, it's a big thing. A lot of the sisters are looking forward to, they're thinking, I want to get married. I want to have a family. What does that look like? What decisions do I have to make now to stop the divorce in the future?
Exactly. And then, like you said before, be clear about what are your main points. Say you have 5, but the guy is has a little bit of belly. The belly you can exercise maybe. So then that's something like at this age, probably we are going to find a lot of bellies. But then for sure, don't give up in the gospel. In the person is really committed to the Lord and following the commandments, because you don't want to get with an alcoholic or so many crazy things that are going on today's day. You have to be really careful. Those are the things that you don't negotiate.
Right.
It's not a negotiation point.
Right. So do you feel like that in the different wards that you've lived in or the places you've traveled, did you feel like people treated you different? Because do you think they didn't want you around because you were single?
Oh no, I feel I am very cultural. So then I went to Turkey and I dressed like a Turkish woman, and I love to learn how to put I don't remember the name of the thing. And I love to become part of them, of the culture, eat the food, cook with them. So then I really enjoy cultures, languages, and be part of I love Italy. So I go and I know how to learn like 20 types of pasta and all that stuff. So then to me, it's fascinating.
So you were like, I'm just going to come hang out with you guys, even though I'm not married. I don't care. It was more an attitude. Your perception wasn't that they didn't want you there or were going to be there anyway.
No, they think that I'm fine. So, oh gosh. And then I say that I'm Colombian. So the Colombian thing just totally changed everything.
Yeah.
And then it's just like me exploring like a little kid, their culture and learning from them. And so it's fascinating. To me, it's fascinating.
So what you were saying is one of your hardest things, because being an LDS thriving sister in the church, your job is great. You've got amazing friends. You love your kids are doing great. So the people in the ward welcome you and you feel loved. But your hardest thing is finding people to date. That's your hardest thing, is what you're saying.
Yes, because I find a lot of people to date. Like maybe 5-6 years ago, I dated people, no Mormons. And then it's very difficult because the first thing that you go, oh, why you not drinking? Oh, when they start smoking, oh, you want some. or things like that. So then I thought there is no compatibility. So what I want to do, dating people that we don't have the same standards. I don't need to feel uncomfortable, or I don't need to make them feel uncomfortable because my beliefs are different. So
Right.
then I just focusing now in guys from church. But guys from church is, so they're challenging too. So they, you have to see, I
Right.
don't agree with the first base in maybe in the first month. So they have, if they really like me, they have to wait.
That's good.
It's just like I told them, hey, you have to treat me like a queen. Don't you think you have to be a queen? You have to love yourself enough and make them know that you are an angel, you are a treasure, you are a woman, you're beautiful. No matter where you're from, what color are you? If you speak English, Spanish, or whatever Mandarin, it doesn't matter the color of the hair or anything. We're beautiful. We're women,
Daughters of God.
I love
daughters
that.
of God.
Yeah.
Never forget it. It's hard to do because right now you're in a strong place, but I'm sure over the last 5 years, there's been weak places where you thought, really, I'm never going to find the standard guy that I want. So I'll just let my standard down. Get a little weak, and then you're like, yeah, no.
To me, it was like I make a deal with the Lord. I thought that probably I'm not ready. That's what I thought. That I was not ready, that I needed to learn more. So then I started educating myself a lot, going through challenges and probably seeing myself how I react to different situations in life. Because see, when you get married, you live with somebody else that is totally different. And then in the beginning it's, oh my God, so much love. And then I don't know how many years, it's just you hate it, it's other human.
Sometimes it
So
doesn't
then-
even take years.
Yeah, exactly. So then it's how you manage all the situations. Like me with the construction, that's my language. Sometimes when I deal with the wives of or my clients, and then the lady say, oh, I want this. And then she say, oh, no, I didn't like that. Take it down, put this. And then sometimes you go 3-4 times taking down, putting different materials. And then you just, like I have different clients. Sometimes I have 6 projects running at the same times. So then for me, timing is very important. So every time that they say, oh, I didn't like this door, put it this door. Oh, no, that door doesn't work out. You know what? Do this other door. So then I just get frustrated. But then it's learn how to manage everything, how you cannot get stressed and let the things like flow. It's okay. Nothing is going on. It's just another door. It's okay. And just really work yourself emotionally, because we are full of emotions, and then the way we react to those conflicts and things that comes every day is the overcoming to a good or bad relationship.
Yeah, so true. But that you have to be very self-aware to do that, and to really
Totally.
know how to tune into yourself and be confident to let things like that go. It's when
Have to.
Yeah.
Because you have to, you're absolutely right. And with everything. And also, I have been trained, because working with men and telling them what to do, you have to turn it a little bit niche down. Because if you tell a man, hey, go and do this, oh, for sure, it's like a mule. It doesn't go nowhere.
So that'll help you someday in a marriage.
Yeah, absolutely. So then it's like you have to be like very careful the way you talk to them, and the way you told them, oh, perhaps this, like I told them, when like texture in the walls. Like not everybody has the talent and this magical hand to do beautiful texture. So then I told them, I get the spatula from them, and I say, look, it's soft. You have to do it soft, like this. Because if you do harder and you put too much, so then it's going to be harder to correct the mistake of where you put in too much material. So you have to do it like this. And then they laugh at me. They say, oh my gosh, it's something else. Because sometimes they think that I don't know. Or then like a tile. I go and like when they don't put the tin set under the whole tile and there is hole, that's why the tile breaks. So then I go and then they say, oh, she's coming. And then almost every tile I touch if it is, and if it is a tile that is with a hole, I told them, hey, break this tile right here, there is a hole. And you pay my tile. So then you have to learn how to be talented, how to tell them, hey, you pay for my tile because you did run your job. And I am a woman. When there is another man or a Caucasian man telling the guy, hey, you broken, you damaged my tile, you pay me back my tile, it's okay. But if it is a woman telling him, hey, my tile is wrong, you have to replace it, it's different. They're going to say, what? You don't know what you're saying. So it's
Yeah, I bet you get met with that kind of thing quite a bit, I would imagine.
Yes, very challenging.
But it's helped you, it sounds, learns good ways to approach and to read, maybe not just men, but men and women, and how to approach them and negotiate. And
Yes.
yeah.
And also when people is aggressive in construction, even between subcontractors, they get annoyed and sometimes they start like a tension. And then you have to come in and say, hey, this cannot work here. And then I called each of, yeah. So then I called each of, hey, come on, let's go talk. What is happening? And then I talked to the other guy and I say, hey, one or two, you work together or you have to come back later. And you're going to waste money and time. So you have to figure out what you want to do, but we have to work all together because we are a family.
Do you have any questions, Kate?
No. I run we used to run a construction company as well. And I know all those when the customers keep changing their mind and how frustrating it is. And they don't seem to understand. And we had a policy, basically, there were certain prices, like you can change, but it's going to cost you this. And you can change.
Yeah.
Oh, that always happen. And they don't want to pay more.
They don't want to pay more. And you go, well, don't change it then. Like it's,
yeah.
Because this is a lot of time and money. But so yes, so I understand the construction world quite well.
Nice.
Did it help you become more patient, Kate? Deal with people better? You think in relationships it might help?
No, I learned patience from having 8 children. That was what I learned.
Me too.
I'd learned a lot by the time I took on those jobs. But it certainly helps you understand the world and money, like that side of things. That's really valuable.
Yes, definitely.
Because the news will tell you something about the housing crisis or something, and you're going, yeah, it's not quite what you just said. The news is very rarely
right
to try and make things sound really simple, and it's way more complicated than that.
Yes, definitely.
And you had your husband dealing with you then, but now you do the things alone, and so that was a change for you.
Yeah, that's been very dramatic. That's the change that's been dramatic. Yeah. And that whole making constant decisions, you just get tired of being the only person making the decisions and there's no one to talk to about the decisions. You're nodding.
And if it doesn't go right, you're the only one to blame, right? That's the hard thing. If it's the wrong decision, you can't blame it on him. Darn it.
No, and the worst is that every wrong decision costs money and time. And in construction, nothing is inexpensive. You talk about hundreds, if anything, thousands. You try not to make mistakes.
Not to make mistakes, yeah. That feeling of, every decision you have to make yourself. That's the hardest bit. And there's a lot of decisions in building a house, but in building in life in general. From the simple stuff of, do I put the Christmas tree up this year, and where do I put it? And
yeah, and is someone going to help me decorate it, right, Kate?
yeah, that's right. To the big decisions of like, how much money will I spend on my house, and what will I do with my investments, and should I buy or sell, and
things I never thought about. I worked that first year, and it ended up being that money was the easy thing for me. I made a lot of money, but then I didn't even know how to do I had to find an accountant. I had to get an attorney to send. I didn't know any of that stuff. And who do you ask? The guys at work that will think you're an idiot that you didn't already know that. So I think it's so important to have good friends that you can bounce stuff off like that, because you're going to do your own thing anyway, but at least you feel like you talked it out, right?
Rather than just going around in your head.
Right.
Actually, one of the things that you'll hear people who talk about getting rich and making money and things is make sure you've got a good team around you. And yeah, the good team has to be team that you can talk to. So an accountant was one that my husband had, and he was actually getting upset with him anyway, but I couldn't talk to him. He wouldn't even answer my emails, and it was just, you're sacked. I need an accountant I can talk to, that I can literally phone up and ask questions.
And not feel stupid, not feel like, that's why we hire someone, because they are the expert.
So you need a lawyer, you need an accountant, you need a financial planner, and because I now do the life coaching, I think coaches need coaches. So in whatever business you're in, you actually need someone to help to coach you. So again, someone to talk to. And you might think, oh, that's a bit sad, you've got to go pay for friends, but you're paying.
Don't think of it that way.
You're paying for friends who've got the knowledge that you don't have. And even if someone's at about the same level as you, often we can solve other people's problems, but it's really hard to hear our own thoughts.
Exactly.
You need an objective perspective to
Perspectives are so different. We're so different, and they see it from a different spot, and they have different experiences in life, and our fears are different.
So we need this team of people around us to help us with the financial stuff, with the personal stuff, with the business stuff, all of that.
With the decorating stuff, with the,
I gotta hide
with the kids stuff.
It is easy to get decision fatigue when you're trying to make all the decisions yourself. How do you handle that, Nancy? Or what do you do? Do you have people to bounce things off of, or how do you handle that?
I've been here in the United States alone since I'm 22 years old. So everything I have one favorite scripture. And I always that make decisions, I go to that scripture. And then I have a good friend in Tucson, Arizona. Sometimes we don't see each other for 2 years, but we call each other every day for 14 years, 3-5 times a day.
Wow.
And sometimes in the beginning, we very strong women. She is not a member of the church, or she's Christian. But sometimes in the beginning, we had two bulls. And then but we kept learning from each other, because I love her. She's very smart, good with numbers. She's an accountant, and she does real estate, but with mobile homes. So it's different, but almost the same job. And then we learn, I love her brain. She's very smart. So then we learn a lot from each other. So in the beginning, it was like, ugh. And sometimes I say, bye, I have another phone call. Bye. Because I was so annoyed. And then we learn to respect each other. We learn how to agree and disagree.
And sometimes it's hard to hear the truth. Like, Shauna, you're being an idiot. Like, that's your fault in a certain situation. You have to have a friend you trust that will tell you in the nicest, kindest way.
Yeah.
Yes.
That it might be our fault that time.
Yeah, and not only that, sometimes you need to listen to yourself, because sometimes, sometimes I catch myself telling her the story, and then me telling her, I listen to myself and I
Uh-huh.
answer my question. However, I just see her perspective. And even if I don't disagree, it doesn't matter because I heard myself when I was talking. So then I feel like you have to be so in tune with the spirit to listen to yourself and to believe in yourself and to try to handle things the best you can. And I actually sometimes I write. I love to write. And I write almost everything that I do. I still have my agenda since I got here to United States, my first agenda, like 30 years ago. And it's amazing to see everything and every decision I took since I got here to United States. I was like, oh my gosh, I can write a book of everything, my learning experiences and everything that I have done. But then I believe the main thing is that you have to humble yourself and pray. Seek the Lord. And when you talk, it's just look into, I see what is the pros and cons and really make a decision thinking celestial.
Yeah. I've been doing a lot of thinking about trusting the Lord, like praying and asking for guidance and direction. And then lately I've been thinking, what if he tells you to do something you don't want to do? Are you going to be willing to do it? And I think it was probably because of a come follow me lesson recently or something that we were learning that kind of caused me to be thinking down that path. But I have really had to ponder it and think, how much do I really trust the Lord, and what would I be willing to sacrifice if I thought he was prompting me to do something that I wasn't that excited about? And would I do it?
And not only that, I think sometimes you will surprise. The Lord works in mysterious ways. Sometimes we don't want to go there, like me going to the lady 40 years ago to the church, and me because I sacrificed me playing in the street with my friends to go to with this lady to the church that night.
Yeah.
But look at how fascinating. I think that was the first love I had in my life, the gospel. I was so amazed that we were wrong and
Yeah.
that everybody was wrong. I was telling everybody, oh my gosh, everybody's wrong because everybody got to that wrong church. So it's you want to tell everybody and nobody listens to you. They think that you're crazy.
That's a really good point, because it probably really helped you with knowing that, and knowing that you're in this environment where you have a lot of people that don't agree. You had to learn at a very young age to hold your convictions and say, no, I know this is what I want, when
Yes.
there's a lot of people telling you otherwise. And so that's probably has really helped you as you've moved into all of your other focuses, and even in the construction arena, because if I hold true to this, it's going to work out for me, because it has.
Yes. Yeah. And I think it's just if you love something, you work for it and you prepare yourself for it. And if you give yourself 100%, I assure you, everything is going to be well. I don't know how, but everything is going to be well. Even if you're sick, even if you're dying, if you seek the Lord, everything is going to be well. I am 100% sure. I am 1000% sure that's going to be well, no matter what. And
Like in that scripture, in that talk that one of the apostles gave, is talking about his wife had cancer. Is that the one? She had cancer, and she was just all uptight. They didn't know. And then all of a sudden she just had this feeling it's going to be okay. Not that you're going to live, not that you're going to die, that whatever it was, you're going to be okay. And it's hard to stay in that part and not let fear take you over when you're single women trying to make all the decisions. But if you can stay in that place and know whatever it is, I'm going to be okay because God's there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I think that's very powerful, Nancy, what you just said. Like that's, if we could just keep that in our life, that's the path. That's the thing.
Right.
That's the. So we really appreciate you coming on to our podcast today and talking with us and sharing your story and sharing your amazing adventures, and we wish you well in your hunt for the righteous man, because you certainly.
Thank you.
Yeah, we probably would like to hear more about that someday.
Yeah, we're going to hear you again. We're going to go through your adventures with you.
Yeah, that would be fun when I can miss it. So then I need to bring him over.
Yeah.
There you go.
Because like, yeah, you're bubbly and you're cute and you're fun and you're spiritual and you're strong and yes, like
Successful. You have you're the whole package, Nancy.
That's what I told guys. Hey, I have this to put in the table. What you have?
Yeah. What are you bringing?
So yes, and I'm sure there is some good guys out there.
No, but I also believe that Thomas Edison said, I believe in my ability to get what I want. And I think you have to set your mind more than anything. Prepare yourself. Make yourself that you're worth it. Of have your right man, the right man for you. That man that the Lord is going to send to you. That's what I'm doing. I'm just waiting. I just have to do my part, and I'm going to put myself right there, go to the singles word.
And you'll be ready when it happens.
And then I told the guy, hey, I'm doing my part. Now you do yours.
Yeah.
I'm waiting. I'm ready.
Just a sort of a strange question, but do you have singles wards that are for older people, do you?
Yes. 4 or 5. It's a lot of fun.
Okay, because we only have singles wards for the 18 to 30-year-olds and not many of those either. So
no, we have the 3 ages we have.
Right. Okay.
So you have what in the college kids, and then 30 and over, and then what?
46, and the older people, like 46 to whatever, they do dances, firesides, and everything. So they invite us to go over there.
Oh, and Kim can go with you.
Yeah,
I always tell her to bring me with.
She needs to go every time.
We go boy hunting.
To meet you. You're adorable. You've taught us a lot. We love your energy.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I am very pleased to be here with you guys.
So hopefully I'll meet you one day.
Yeah,
You're coming
sure.
down to Arizona. So we're going to go to UK and Australia. So
you can come over anytime, any of you. Right here, you have a room for you.
perfect. All
You're
right.
welcome.
Well, it's great to see you.
Yes, thank you
nice
so
to
much,
see you.
Nancy.
See you next time.
Okay. Love you guys.
Bye.
Okay, bye.